This week on the podcast, we're breaking down all things college football. Which head coaches are seriously on the hot seat? Is there a team in the top 10 that will just completely crater? But also, is there a team that's not even in the top 25 that could end up in the playoff? We discuss all that and more this week on the Fifth and Goal Sports Podcast.
Welcome to the Fifth and Goal Sports Podcast. Now, here are your hosts, Aaron, Josh, and Johnny.
Welcome to the show. Listeners, viewers, good to have you back. Good to be back. Johnny and producer Chris held down the fort for us last week. So guys, thanks for doing that. We're back. In fact, it's been a while since I've got to talk to you all. It's not been that long since I got to talk to Josh because we got to see each other in person, in real life, just last week, which was great.
I drove
my off week was great.
The entire time, all the way up to Ohio. Got to go to the Huber Heights Buc-ee's. More on that later, actually. I will say, and because of what will happen later, I've been to bigger. It was fine.
So have I, because you took me there when we went to Texas.
Oh, you know it.
Years ago. Yeah.
I didn't even take you to the biggest of, that was the one I took you guys to, was the smallest of the three in the area,
crazy.
And it was still bigger.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy.
If I take you up to the
we'll
UNT
talk about
one, you would have an
the
aneurysm.
Busey's drama, as it's called around here by one of us. We've got that. We've also got college football kicking off, at least for us, as we're sitting here recording on Monday, August 10th. 19 days until week 0 kicks off, so it's going to be even sooner for you by the time this episode comes out. So we're going to dive into some of our thoughts, just overarching on the season. And then, again, we're real close to week 0, so in the coming weeks, which is really just kind of next week and the week after, we'll break down some of the matchups that are happening in week 0 and some of these early weeks. But that's kind of the direction this show is headed. So get ready for some college football talk. We're here, guys. We made it. The three of us are actually in an online meeting room together, recording a podcast. Go us. The preseason rankings are out. Coaches poll, that is. AP poll comes out next week. If there's any big discrepancies between the AP poll and the coaches poll, we'll talk about that. But the main thing is we have the coaches poll in front of us. We have a list of top 25 teams. Well, someone's list of top 25 teams. I'll put it that way. It's no Fifth and Goal poll. It's no Johnny's preseason poll, which are essentially one and the same because we're the only two voters in it. What is your guys' take on this poll? And I'll read it out real quick, just some of the highlights for those of you listening or watching. Ohio State is number 1 on this list, which we will certainly discuss as we are all 3 Buckeye fans. What's the thought on that? Number 2 is Oregon. Number 3 is Georgia. Number 4, Texas. Number 5, Notre Dame. And then Indiana at 6, Miami at 7. And then I would say, just based on the voting, there's a bit of a drop off after that. So that's your top 7. No real surprise, I don't think, in who is in that top 7. We can talk about order. Some other notable things I will throw out there. Tennessee is up to 18 in this list.
Look at you guys.
Clemson in the top 25. Why? Tell us, please. We're trying to figure that out. And Missouri. Oh, good old Missouri. It's not a coach's poll without Missouri gracing the top 25. Guys, overarching thoughts on
God
this
bless
poll.
Missouri.
Can I say,
Someone's gotta.
I actually don't think this poll is like, I'm sorry for all you conspiracy theorists out there. I don't think it's a conspiracy. I think it's laziness. I think it's just as simple as laziness.
Oh, yeah.
Clemson. Oh, Clemson's got to be ranked. Why? Oh, Clemson.
That's Clemson.
Like, this is. Am I allowed
Remember
to
Trevor Lawrence? I remember Trevor Lawrence.
SIDs still? Because these are SIDs voting, not head coaches for most of these polls. And they don't have enough time to worry and actually look at and watch these other teams. They don't know what their recruiting classes were for their opponents. They don't know what their transfer portal rankings were. They don't know who's coming back and who left for the NFL draft. I think it's name recognition and it's laziness. Now, name recognition and laziness is great when you make sure Utah and Iowa get ranked around the 20 spot every year.
Sure.
That is correct.
Amen.
They always should be there.
Always.
Like, absolutely correct. Good
if
job,
you got put in a
everyone.
coma this time last year and you were woken up this past Sunday and said, "Hey, vote," and you said, Utah 21, Iowa 22, perfect. Congratulations, you
the
get
last
another year.
5 years, really.
Back,
Like
into
that
the,
was,
back into the chamber for you. Yeah.
it would have been fine. So I just think it's laziness.
Johnny, what are you talking about? All the SIDs I know have nothing but time to post on all of their alt accounts.
Yeah, they're watching film of other teams' football football practices
on August 10th for sure.
Yeah, we can talk about the
they don't
NFL.
care about they don't care about the upcoming media days. They worry about all of these media deals and what the shareholders going to experience.
The shareholders
when it comes to the Monster Energy presents Big 12 football.
We also will have to talk eventually about all of these accounts for NFL practices that are publishing stats from practice. Y'all are sick. Who are like actually taking these stats like as meaningful at all. You are sick. Listen, I love these sports, but you have got to walk away and touch some grass eventually. And now is the time to do so before the season starts. None of these mean anything. Anyway, that was my thing. But I will say just in general, the poll, I don't have a huge problem usually. I think groupings wise, the poll is pretty accurate. I would have changed the order, but it's preseason. I think that there is a very clear and evident top 7 going into this season. I think everybody can pretty much get that. It's that Notre Dame, Ohio State, Texas, Oregon, Indiana, Miami, Georgia, I think that's my order. But I really am not going to get into a lot of beef with anyone who has that slightly different. But I think I would be relatively shocked if the national champion does not come from that group this season. I think those 7 they could all all of them are vulnerable. They could get beat, but I think that those are clearly the best 7 teams in the country.
Yeah, I agree. There's a really interesting dynamic with Indiana at number 6. Because if you go on the NCAA's website, actually, I think technically this is USA Today, but in any case, if you just look at the poll that includes the voting, Indiana has the second most first place votes, but they ended up 6th, which is a really interesting dynamic because I think that we as the college football public and the voters as well are still trying to figure out, okay, how do we judge Indiana? Like, obviously, we saw what happened last year, 16-0, best run ever, by Indiana, or really by almost any program ever. Obviously, there's some loss to the draft, notably the number 1 overall pick and Heisman Trophy winner, Fernando Mendoza. But there's also pieces coming back. Indiana's also been active in the transfer portal. They've done well there. Recruiting is picking up, obviously. There's a big question mark. It's like, okay, is this a sustainable thing? Was this just like a generational run by Indiana? Which both could be true. It could be sustainable and it was a generational run by Indiana. So it's interesting because I think just based on that 6th place, even though they had the second most first place votes, to me, and I'm no math major, but to me, that means there were some people putting Indiana like consistently in the bottom of those 7 teams that we think are separating themselves from the rest of the pack right now, or maybe even lower, which is really interesting. We'll have to wait around a little bit to see how good this Indiana team is, because like last year, there's not much to speak of in the non-conference for them. That's a point of contention further south of us, which is understandable. Also considering some rivalry cancellation news between them and Notre Dame, but that's for a different podcast, I'm sure, has talked about that ad nauseum. I'm just fascinated to see what Indiana looks like, and that spot. And also, does the AP poll put them in a much different spot? The other thing is Ohio State's number 1. Guys, how do we feel about that?
I get it. I don't agree with it. But we say this pretty much every year. I have a hard time separating my expectation for the worst case scenario for Ohio State. And let me be honest, it's champagne problems. The worst case scenario usually for a Buckeye season is 10-2. Like that. This year, I would say probably 9-3 just because of how difficult the schedule is. But most seasons, we're really talking 10-2 just because of how consistent they've been. And everybody keeps talking about the offensive line coming back. That is still maybe my biggest concern. And because that is still, and everybody talks about returners, having returning starters doesn't always mean good. I remember, I believe it was Sam Howell and North Carolina with Coach Mack were coming back for one more season at North Carolina. They're ranked top 10 and they get beat. I don't even think it was technically week 0. I think it was like a Thursday night game in between week 0 and week 1. And they get beat by Virginia Tech, bad Virginia Tech. And they got throttled. And they had all 5 starters returning on the offensive line. And I think I said 20 times that offseason, I love this North Carolina team. They're going to be so good. And then they have that opener against Virginia Tech, and Virginia Tech just routed that offensive line. So that doesn't mean I'm saying that these are bad players, but the center of that offensive line got beaten up and bullied by Miami and Indiana in short yardage situations. Now, that doesn't mean they can't improve coming this season, but I'm worried about that. And then we're figuring out the tackle positions. So the offense is going to be the ones leaned upon with, especially early on, while the defense, which I think will still be very, very good, kind of gets its bearings, where I can see how somebody would have Notre Dame ahead of Ohio State or Oregon ahead of Ohio State, because I think but at the same time, there's not like a how could you do that moment to me with these 7 teams.
Yeah. I hope the AP poll, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. And if you're conspiratorial, is that a word? I'm using it anyways.
Yeah.
If you're conspiratorial,
They don't want you to say it, but it's fine.
yeah, they're just lining up the headlines for Ohio State, Texas, as if we needed any more headlines.
Right.
But there's just something about 1 versus 4 or, 2 versus 3 compared to like, I don't know. It doesn't matter. If you want to put on your tinfoil hat, it's because Ohio State's going to Texas. So let's beef up this game as much as we humanly can. Which, why not? That's going to be an awesome game.
I'm ready for more TikTok edits.
Yeah.
That was the majority of my fall last year. And it worked out well for me specifically in the state of Texas. So I'm okay to run that one again.
Have you seen tickets for that game?
I
did.
It
cost more than what it took me to get to the Cotton Bowl a few years ago.
Yeah, it is. I have to. It would be cheaper to murder somebody and then pay off the prosecutor than to just buy a ticket outright.
Oh,
so I murder this person who has a ticket,
right?
Not just anybody.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. That'll be interesting. Obviously, you get Michigan, Oklahoma that day at noon, so you get some good Big Ten SEC matchups, and also not just Big Ten SEC, but I think aligned in the positions where they're projected to be in their own conference. So you have according to this poll, Ohio State's the best team in the Big Ten. Texas is the second best team, apparently, in the coaches poll to Georgia, which is fine. Oklahoma comes in at number 4. Michigan, 4 in the SEC in terms of coaches poll rankings. And Michigan comes in at number 5. So, I mean, from that perspective, we'll see how it shakes out. Like, this should be an overarching statement as we get closer. You hear a lot about strength of schedule right now. Oh, what's this team's record going to be? Oh, I don't know. Look at their strength of schedule. We don't know what their strength of schedule is.
Right.
Like, people are saying this as a definitive thing. And I understand, like, don't get me wrong. This should be one of the most difficult schedules Ohio State plays since I've been a fan. Should be. But like this happens, and I want to be careful because people see the strength of schedule in the preseason and they hang on to it and they squeeze it as hard as they can.
I'm sorry. You mean like Peter Burns of the ESPN SEC network, who complains that First off, this is what I'm about to read you, because this is the frustration that Aaron's been talking about. Preseason, you know why we're not yelling yet? Because it doesn't matter.
Right.
We don't know.
Also, we saw a preseason game that was a really good preseason game, so I'm not upset. I'm not angry. Farthest from it. But day the coaches poll dropped, you have Peter Burns of the ESPN Network studio. He does XM host, blah blah stuff. Worst bunker player in history. Says him. He tweets out day of. 9 SEC schools play at least 5 of the top 25 teams in the coaches poll. Does not say preseason. Says, oh, dude, their strength of schedule is going to be so much better. And then he says, not a single Big Ten team plays 5, which is funny because Ohio State plays 6 teams in the preseason top 25. Michigan plays 6 teams in the top 25. USC, 5. Nebraska, 5. Minnesota, 5. Washington, 5. Purdue, 5. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Yay, Josh can
Now, in
count,
fairness to Mr. Burns,
they can't.
maybe he forgot that USC was in and Oregon were in the Big Ten.
That's fair.
And that's a fair thing. Otherwise, it's just complete propaganda. That's all it is.
Yeah.
No, they would
I
never
don't-
do that down south.
I've been to Cajun, Texas. I don't want to insult the people there. He is doing them a disservice by not remembering his numbers.
Yeah. Well, and going back
And
to
also,
the
it's preseason.
Right.
We have strength of record that we talk about afterwards and go, how did this season go
Right.
relative to how everything went? Strength of schedule doesn't not matter. Signetti was quoted talking about it. I mean, everybody's talking about it because it's helpful to have guideposts rather on what generally to expect. You know how
Sure.
to prep your team. Does the preseason poll really is Ryan Day going, oh my gosh, they're at 4? Oh, okay. We have to.
right.
I forgot they were good. No, but he is going, okay, guys, we're no longer the underdogs. We're going into enemy territory, but he's going to probably be phrasing things a little differently based on public perception. It's a good way just to see where the conversation's going. But this doesn't matter. It only matters to a few SEC guys who go, see, we're good. Just because Missouri beat A&M on a random Saturday does not mean that both teams are equally good. We did this with the Pac-12. We didn't call the Pac-12 loaded. We called them chaotic.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Well,
Beautiful.
how many
Because
Labor Day
they didn't claim they were they did kind of claim they were the best, but in a different way that we found
conference
endearing.
champions?
Yeah.
Well, how many years, and the answer is every single one of them, do we have a Labor Day top 10 matchup that we're like, whoa, that was a really close game. This is last year. LSU must be really good. They actually should be ranked ahead of Ohio State at number 1. That's
They were saying that deep into
aged
November.
like just the worst thing ever. This happens every season. We have a top 10 matchup on Labor Day weekend, and we think that team's really good. No, they both suck. They're both bad.
Hey, have you
because
considered
you need to watch the game?
a secret third thing? Yeah.
Yeah, not the box score.
Stop watching
the
box
game.
scores.
If you had watched the LSU Clemson game last year, you would have taken away, I don't know if either one of these teams is very good. This happens almost every season.
Yeah.
So the issue is not when people get angry at preseason polls or strength of schedule going into the season. The problem is what you said, Aaron. People hold on to it with an iron grip. Oh, they dropped 12 spots? How could you drop them 12 spots? They played a really difficult team. They didn't drop 12 spots. You should re-rank after every week. And especially after week 1, that's not remotely dropping or rising in the polls.
Massive changes.
This is actually the only real ranking that's happened so far.
Yeah,
And
right.
it's still a really small sample size. That doesn't mean we should abolish preseason polls. Preseason polls are fun, but they just need to be fun, not this is a data point. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not a data point. This is not a starting point. Nothing has happened. We don't know. It's all guesswork. Because otherwise, you're going to say, and this is what drives Big Ten people crazy, SEC fans, oh, we have 5 top 10 wins. No, 2 of those teams aren't even ranked. It's week 7.
Yeah.
It's week 7. They're not even in the top 25 anymore. I'm sorry. That doesn't count as
But
a
they
top
were
10
in
win
June.
anymore.
Didn't you
Unless
see
their
our spring game?
quarterback tore his ACL
But I
after you
pleaded my
played him.
shorts.
It's madness.
Doesn't
I
matter.
hate that. It's about where the team is currently. Unless there's some catastrophic injury, then I get it. There's always caveats. But
Yes.
other than that, Just have fun with it. Stop.
Have fun.
Yeah.
And
Stop holding on.
maybe, and we can say this, and we'll say this every week until the SEC learns, which means we will say it every week until the earth explodes. Win your games. Hey, guess what? LSU, if you want respect, win out. Don't just...
Yeah.
There we go. It's easy.
They're not winning in Oxford this year.
They're
no
not
way.
winning. Listen, if Ole Miss wants to be like, hey, no, we're going to be okay. I don't know until you win your games.
Yeah.
You go 12-0. Yeah, I'll go. Oh, okay. This is great.
If LSU goes 10-2, hats off Lane Kiffin.
Yes.
Not actually because I don't like him, but but like he has more than done his job at 10-2. Let me throw this out to you guys because Johnny, you mentioned earlier, like, it's easy in preseason. Like I'm looking at all these rosters, like I'm diving in, I'm doing a bunch of writing myself that will come out on the website here over the next little bit. It's really easy to look at the returning starters number. And if you see a big, especially in this era of college football, right? Mm-hmm. Like when that just is not as much of a thing as it used to be. And if you see like 16 starters back on a team, like, and a team that was good last year, or was like right on the cusp, it's like, well, surely they're going to make the jump. Like they're going to just make a jump, which is also an interesting perspective because any coach will tell you like, well, you're not starting where last season ended. Like this is a new thing. That aside, because this happened last year, like Penn State and Clemson are two like obvious where we were kind of all like, well, these teams are loaded. And on paper they were, and based on the NFL draft, they were like 8, what Clemson had 8 draft picks, something a couple like in the first round. Yeah. So like after the first round, like with Johnny, I think we talked about it on our draft show. We were just sitting there like, Clemson, what went wrong? And I don't know if we fully even know that now.
No, still don't.
Yeah, that is a long-winded way
this year. Honestly,
I'm kind of thinking they will. Now, does that mean they should be in the top 25? No. But anyways. So let me throw this out to you guys because this happens every year. Now, last year it really, really happened because Texas started number 1 and didn't make the playoff. So I gave you the top 7 teams. Let me just give you the top 10, and I want you to pick a team that just maybe not like a full Penn State, James Franklin gets fired kind of deal. No, but like that falls out of maybe the top 25 because almost every single year over the last 20 years that has happened. So at number 8, Texas A&M, number 9, Oklahoma, number 10, Ole Miss.
Who's 7 again, Aaron?
Miami.
7's Miami.
No, that's not happening. Okay. Huh. Well, honestly, I can actually see it though. With it's Ole Miss, Oklahoma, and A&M. I can see it with all of them. Part of it is you do play in the SEC, which yes, I know there's a lot made of that, but it is obviously still a very difficult conference.
Yeah.
Marcel Reed and A&M. I love Mike Elko, so I have a hard time saying this, but Marcel Reed is about as nuclear as, or maybe radioactive is a better word, not because of anything he is as a person. He seems like a wonderful young man, but that dude, watch the South Carolina game from last year. I mean, you could not have had a more putrid performance in that first half, and you couldn't have had a better performance in the second half. Like I've never seen anything like it in a single game. And he was really bad at the end of the season, but he's also been brilliant at other times. And you just have no idea what you're getting out of him. I could see Texas A&M that happening. All 3 of these teams have fatal flaws though. So honestly, multiple of them, this happening to, I wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah. My gut was initially Ole Miss. And then I remembered how, what the types of losses Oklahoma had last year. And I went, it's not both. And those are what immediately go. Miami, like you said, Johnny, I can see reasonably any of these.
Oklahoma couldn't run the ball last year.
Well, and that's my team that I'm picking for this because what's the situation? Also, I don't even need to like dive into the X's and O's. You know why? Because in 2022, Brent Venables goes 6-7.
You're right.
Then 10-3. Then in 2024, 6-7. 2025, 10-3. Folks, it's an even year. Brent Venables is going 6-7. It's a pattern, folks. I don't know if he's actually going 6-7.
John Mateer is going to prevent it from bottoming out like that, I think.
I tend to agree.
7
but
and
let's
6
say
then.
let's say that Oklahoma still can't figure out how to run the ball for whatever reason, even though I expect a healthy John Mateer to really elevate
if they can't
this
run.
offense. Well, right. Yeah. You're in a situation where John Mateer's got to run for his life. Like this could be a refresh of last year, just with worse, because the defense was awesome last year for Oklahoma. So in this situation, it's also that they have not been able to meet that level of play from last year. Here's the other issue. Their schedule at the beginning, it's very front loaded. In the first 5 games that they play in the first 6 weeks, UTEP at home on a Friday night, great. Totally fine. At Michigan. Like you could see where that could be a problem. I kind of like Oklahoma in this matchup early. I just think early in the coaching change there at Michigan, which I think will ultimately be a huge success, but it's early. New Mexico at home. That's fine. New Mexico is actually a really good team, potential group of 6 playoff team. So, but I think Oklahoma's got it taken care of there. At Georgia, bye week. They're coming to you, Josh. Cotton Bowl after that. So at Michigan, at Georgia, neutral game against Texas, all within their first 5 games. You go 2-3 in that stretch. Like you lose all those big games. What's the mentality of that team? Because you're probably out of the playoff picture, right? Like I know Texas had the conversation last year. They got 3 relatively early losses and there was a whole thing. But you're probably out of the playoff picture just like that. Like October 10th. Is the mentality of the team like, okay, we got to pull it together. Like, let's see if we can make a run. Or is it, okay, this is done. Like, and then it's going to tailspin.
Like Penn State.
So that's the one I can see. I'm not necessarily predicting that to happen, but if we're running the exercise where you have to pick a top 10 team to just kind of implode, that to me is my choice.
And
I'm with you, Johnny. I see it for all 3 teams.
Yeah, I think Ole Miss, what typically happens when you have a turnover like that where you upgrade your coordinator is that it doesn't bottom out immediately and I know it can happen a lot sooner now with the transfer portal and stuff. But Pete Golding was able to hold together a good chunk of that roster, especially the most important 2 in Lacey and Chambliss.
Yep.
They still lost in the trenches to LSU. And Golding did an admirable job in the transfer portal and has so far in recruiting. I think I have a hard time seeing Ole Miss drop all the way out of the rankings, but I wouldn't be surprised if they're not a playoff team again this season. I think Chambliss will be absolutely incredible once again, Lacey, but if you're not sound in the trenches, those 2 will be mitigated a lot. And I see more if Ole Miss is going to fall off, it won't be this season, it'll be next year.
Well, and the other thing with Ole Miss, like again, if you're glass half empty looking at them, the book is out on Trinidad Chambliss. Now, the film he put out there was unbelievable. But you're also like kind of the underlying assumption is that he stays at that level during the year, which he is clearly capable of considering his play against some of the top opponents of college football. But like other teams have a solid year of film, including Lane Kiffin, his former coach, which will be just fascinating week 3. Speaking of we talked about coaches, like if, for example, if things go bottom up for Oklahoma, Brent Venables is out of there. The coaching seat will get warm pretty quick if last year's any indication. A team we have not mentioned yet that I want to say is USC. They come in at the coaches poll number 14. I think that's a great spot because I think the expectation should be a lot higher for the Trojans than they have in a while. If you're listening or watching to this and you're like, this is crazy to say, if you're like 14 or 15, I need to tell you something. USC used to be a power in college football. Like I know you have to go and like search USC highlights from the early 2000s to see if I'm correct. I promise you I am, but it's crazy that I even have to say that because they've been so up and down and mostly down. It's playoff or bust for USC. Like that's the simplest I can say. If they don't make a playoff, barring, I don't even think it matters. If they don't make a playoff, I think Lane Kiffin's gone. They're big games and they've got a lot of them.
It's a tough schedule.
It's a tough schedule because I'm going to start with a game that you guys don't think is tough. At Rutgers. Singular, Rucker.
For them,
because
it is.
they need to earn the S. Because
can't
it's the first
travel.
Big Ten game. Because guess who's coming up next after that in consecutive weeks? Home against Oregon, home against Washington, at Penn State.
At Penn State.
And then, but you got to go coast to coast,
and then
Piscataway.
Then they stay more or less. I guess they get a bye, and then back at Wisconsin, which may not be as bad, but that's two. I mean, we've seen 2 extreme travel weeks in a row. Technically,
Yep.
the bye helps. The bye will help. Then they have to prep for Ohio State.
Yeah.
Hosting,
And then,
I kept scrolling. Hey, USC. Hey, how you feeling about killing the Pac-12? Because you didn't have to play at Indiana.
and this was a bad road team last year.
Yeah.
Very
So,
bad. Ever since joining the Big Ten,
Yeah.
they have really struggled on the road. And listen, I get it. But yeah, they have 3 of the furthest destinations possible
Yeah.
in conference play this year. That's a very good. People just look at who you're playing home and away. But with where the Big Ten is right now geographically, you've got to take into account travel. Kind of like when you look at the NFL. You know, you always look at an East Coast team traveling all the way to the West Coast or West Coast team traveling all the way to East, especially if it's a short week. Like, you need to take that into consideration.
Yeah.
And for USC. And I think, to be clear, I don't think Aaron's saying it either. They are plenty good enough to be a playoff team this year. At
Yes.
least talented enough.
Absolutely.
Yep.
We've
But
seen
they're
that every
going to
year.
have to overcome obstacles that they have absolutely failed in the past. Like that Illinois game cannot happen again from last year. And that was, of course,
Right.
not a bad Illinois team. But where's the marquee win for Lincoln Riley in Big Ten conference play really since joining the conference? I think we struggle to see that because they've blown opportunities even at home against Penn State a couple years ago.
Mhm.
Yep.
So they've got to break through. And I know that's a big trending thing, but USC also lost their starting center probably for the season here in preseason. So they're very talented. I'm not saying that means like they're doomed, but
No,
it's
but
one more hurdle to overcome.
again, since his time there, just started 2023, won the Holiday Bowl. Great. Isn't that fun? Isn't that so cute? 24, won the Las Vegas Bowl. Again, fine. You had to go 7-6 to earn the luxury of the Las Vegas Bowl. Last year, lost in the Alamo Bowl. We're not talking about a bubble team here.
No,
Right.
they were close
They've
one
not
time.
been in the conversation.
And it was
Right.
the very first year. That's the only time that they were close,
Exactly.
and that they
And
haven't
so-
since.
Once you go through and see, like, season by season, I think sometimes we can forget this. Ooh, it's the expectations versus what has been put down on the field is really, really different. And it's not just like, again, we've talked about this with Ryan Day at times. There's been times we've jokingly or half jokingly or not jokingly at all, depending on what part of the season we're in. We've talked about, is there a realistic hot seat for this guy? And for the most part, it's always because there's been a general, okay, if Ohio State becomes a bubble team, what does that look like? How do we deal with that as fans? How does the fan base respond to XYZ? All of this stuff. There's always been a bubble there, at least, that preserves him. I've not seen, and again, other than the first year, and we just saw Kirk Cincinnati. I have no issue with you just going all out in your second season. Early, before you get your guys, before you have a time to go through a complete recruiting cycle. Like, I'm okay with that, but like if your best year is with other guys, especially the way you left Oklahoma, especially the type of bad brisket you brought with you, actually, will he do well in Rutgers? Rutgers, I'm sorry. I assume you have somebody up there who knows how to smoke, but I think Northeast, I think pastrami. I'm sorry. Still good. Not a smoked brisket. I'm going to start talking about food now, so I'm going to just stop.
Well, I'm going to, we're talking about hot seat, and there's some obvious ones like that. Everyone's talking about, like Mike Norvell in Florida State and Luke Fickell at Wisconsin. Mike Norvell, it's over. Like that's
over.
sad. It's just the only thing that gave him a stay of execution is that Lane Kiffin chose LSU instead, and his buyout's enormous.
Yeah.
So as soon as it goes down a tier, whenever that line is in the contract, he will be let go this season, barring a miracle. Luke Fickell, that's an interesting one.
Yeah.
That we definitely can talk about. But the one I want to talk about is totally off the radar, and that's Mike Locksley at Maryland. I think he absolutely should be on the hot seat if he's not, because Maryland should expect more. Maryland is not in a place where they are devoid of regional talent. One, because DC and Baltimore produce football players. They're in between Pennsylvania and Virginia. They're not far from Ohio. There's a lot of real fertile places to recruit right there.
Yeah.
They go 4-5-0 to start a season every single season, and then they completely bottom out. Sometimes they bottom out so badly they don't even make a bowl game. And what they're paying him is absurd for what they're getting from him, especially after seeing what Indiana did last year. Again, Indiana is the Grim Reaper for some of these coaches now, because they've seen what is possible. Now, that could be a 1 in a million thing, and you could say that's not really correct. I'm not even saying it is correct, but it will happen. It happened last year when I think we had 32 head coaching changes. It might be more than that. I have to go back and check all of my notes from last season. But that's going to continue this year, because they're going to go to the FCS or small group of 5 ranks and go take another swing. Maryland's been insanely patient with Mike Locksley.
Yeah.
If they bottom out this year, he's got to be gone. So hot seat, let me just very quickly schedule. Hampton should be a win. UConn, not as easy as it used to be, should be a win. It's September, Maryland still. Virginia Tech now is not easy. That's not an easy game. They're at home at the Snake Pit, but still. UCLA might not be easy. And they get the Bruins at home, but you don't know. And then Nebraska, Ohio State, Rutgers, Illinois, Purdue, Wisconsin, USC, Penn State. It's actually, they don't even get a murderer's row. They have some difficult games on the schedule, as everybody does. But if this team is not 7-5 with that schedule, he should be fired. He's got to be let go at that point. I think I'm being overly reasonable and kind, saying 7-5 is good enough with that. So I'm curious. Like, Maryland's even produced NFL draft picks out of the roster.
Yeah.
They're not putting it together, though, on the field. And I think they can do better. You have teams that are feel kind of hamstrung in your conference sometimes and don't have the resources or alumni base or geographic problems really hinder them. Maryland's not that. So if you're looking at what's a team that's been mediocre for a really long time / bad that actually has the potential to be good, Maryland is one of those teams.
Yeah.
So I would like to see that getting talked about a little bit more.
Absolutely.
Well, and I'm also just begging a team from the Northeast to actually do something.
Do something.
And Maryland's not really even Northeast, but it's okay, you're good enough.
Close enough. We have to take what we can get. Yeah.
Boston College, Syracuse, I'm begging you.
I'm
begging you.
It's not going to happen at Boston College, I can tell you that.
No, it's not.
2022, Locksley went 8-5. 23, 7-5. So it's possible.
Well, that's what it is every year, though. It's 7-5, 6-6. It's not good enough.
It's not good enough. Last year was 4-8. If the goal for this year, like you said, Johnny, these are relatively reasonable. Get up to 500, if not a game above.
And you have
He's
NFL players on the team.
Yes.
Every year they have NFL players on the team. Not loaded, but they have some. They have more than other teams.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yep.
As a head coach, overall, he is 37-49.
They can do
That's
better.
across all of his disciplines.
I think Maryland fans should be more upset than I at least hear. It's almost like they've given in, and you can do better, Maryland. I believe in your ability to be better.
Yeah. And by the way, the team in the Northeast that's actually going to accomplish something is Army this year. So
yes.
Amen.
There's your take. And Navy. I don't know if we're including them in the Northeast. Both of them should be up there in the American. Another coach I'll throw out there more as a tease for next week, maybe, because if we get into this, we'll be talking forever.
Oh no.
Can I put Bill Belichick on the hot seat?
Is it?
Because it's
I think it's just a
technically-
grill. I don't think there's a seat.
Yeah, that's true. Technically, the athletic director didn't hire him as the athletic director. He was on the search committee and then got the athletic director job a couple months later. But technically, the athletic director has not hired a coach as the athletic director, which sometimes means that they're a little bit more willing to, shoo away the coach. That whole thing is a mess.
Yeah.
I'm hoping, just for North Carolina's sake, like I'm not necessarily a Bill Belichick fan. I'm hoping that for North Carolina's sake, when the entire college football universe is watching the very first game of the season, TCU and North Carolina in Ireland to begin, I hope it's not a repeat of last year. Like, I don't want to see Peter Herbstreit trying to announce the game. If that happens twice in a row, we have lost the plot.
It will happen again.
Hatch
It probably
me in.
will.
I'll give a better.
Talk about another place that deserves better. Well, maybe they
Yeah.
don't deserve better. They opted into this themselves.
Yes,
and
they
they fired
did.
Mac Brown, which is kind of an unforgivable thing to me. So
Yeah, I agree. If only he would have had a defense, he would have actually accomplished quite a bit there, I think. I'll stick in the ACC real quick, and then we can move on because I know we've been talking for a while. Ending on a more positive note, teams that did not make the top 25 that I think should have, and now this is a sort of cheating because this team was basically number 26 based on votes. But Johnny, I know you had this team written down as well, and it's cheating if I'm putting them in the top 25. But I'm putting them higher than that.
yeah.
I think Louisville goes 10-2 this year. Now, is that me as a Buckeye fan saying, oh, Lincoln Kienholz, he was on my team, let's root for him? I don't know, but as much crap as we gave Kyle McCord, he just went out with Syracuse and led the country in passing. And I know, not every, quarterback that touches the turf in Columbus just instantly becomes that, but there's real talent there. He gives them a much more athletic option at quarterback than they had with Miller Moss. I trust that coaching staff a bunch. By the way, Louisville does have Isaac Brown, who, if you're not familiar with that name, you should. He's one of the best running backs in the country. Was banged up a little bit last year, but if you can keep him healthy, he's dynamic. And also, there's a chance immediately to set the tone because Ole Miss travels to Nashville week 1 on a Sunday, 7:30 p.m. to take on Ole Miss. If you get that win, it's like kind of a good and bad thing. Well, it's not really a bad thing at all for Louisville, but if you just look at it from the context of you're not hiding the rest of the season. Let me put it that way. There's not going to be any under the radar for Louisville if they do, but their next few games, Villanova, they get SMU at home in week 3, which is a massive game because we're assuming Miami's running the table in the ACC. And I'm not going to disagree with that because it's hard for me, at least looking on paper, to see that they don't actually win, get this, their first ever ACC championship. That week 3 game is massive because I have been told that there will be a second team in Charlotte playing for the ACC championship at the end of the year. To my knowledge, they have not just canceled that game if Miami goes 12-0. And SMU, I think, is a really solid team. But SMU travels to Louisville. Louisville does not play actually, neither team does play Miami. So that game is huge. Then the rest of the schedule for Louisville: Wake Forest, at NC State, Florida State, at Syracuse, home against Stanford, at Georgia Tech, at North Carolina, Pitt, at Kentucky. I see 10-2 in there real easily.
Oh, for sure.
And if you go 3-0 somehow, if you win against, and now that's a lot. I'm not saying I'm even predicting Louisville to beat Ole Miss.
Wheel of Destiny,
But if they start 3-0, the ceiling is really high for this team. So, anyways, that's my team. I'm gassing up my dark horse.
It's a great pick. I fully agree. I think Louisville's going to be awesome.
Which sucks because now we know it's not going to happen.
That 3-game stretch, though, if you go 1-2, you feel it instantly because of how hard it is to get into your conference championship game now with these mega conferences. If you lose that SMU game, you could run the table, and if SMU only loses one conference game, and SMU could lose to Notre Dame, that doesn't mean anything. And SMU has to lose 2 times for you to even to get back in the picture, and that's barring anybody else sneaking their way in, which there's always somebody. So I love that pick. I actually think the ACC is super interesting this season. I think it's fascinating. I really like Virginia Tech. I have them 27th. Like, I know people are like 27th, not top 25. I get you. But I think Virginia Tech is really, really interesting this season. I think they could be really good with Grunkemeyer right away, with James Franklin. There is a path to victory, if you will, in the ACC right now. It's open with Georgia Tech kind of recycling. I think they're going to dip this season. Doesn't mean I think the program will be bad, but they'll dip a little, losing Haynes King and some of those guys. And I think they'll come back up with Brent Key. But you have a window of opportunity this season to kind of take a leap, as there's always been, it feels like, in the ACC behind the number one team. And I'm fascinated with those teams just below Miami: SMU, Louisville, Virginia Tech. I think it'll be really interesting.
Yeah, for reference, the coaches poll, if you extrapolate it out, they basically got Virginia Tech at 41. So you having them at 27 is a pretty big deal. Can I make this is my hottest take of the year, maybe, and I'm spoiling it on August 10th. I'm not quite fully committed to this take yet. So, which is, man, wow,
Lame.
I'm not good at writing
It's
a
so
fence.
hot. It's so hot you can't even agree with it.
I can't even touch it. What if I told you guys there's a playoff team that did not receive a single vote in the coaches poll? And I'm reading this again to make sure I didn't miss them. I did not.
Tulane.
I think. What'd you say?
Was it Tulane?
No,
James
it's not
Madison?
Tulane. It is a team in that conference. It is the UTSA Roadrunners. Meep. They've got a great quarterback. Owen McCown is back. He's a veteran, really good lefty, really dynamic, was banged up last year, fought through it. They've got, I think, the best skill player position in the American, Will Henderson III at running back. You just need like average defense. Like, I'm not even asking for much because that offense is going to hum. I think the Roadrunners could really do some damage. I don't think they play Navy, which is one of the top ranked teams. I believe they're preseason favorites in the American. So I like the Roadrunners a lot. Am I slightly biased because that's been my dynasty team in NCAA football 27? Perhaps, but I'm all for it. Jeff Traylor has a history of winning conference championships. It's not fully come together yet in the American. The last couple of years, they've been like 7-6, 8-5, something like that. But Roadrunners, meep. No votes in the preseason. Doesn't matter. We're riding all the way to the playoff.
Aaron, to help your point, this is according to Yahoo Sports, Traylor has said that he wants the Roadrunners to live right on the edge of the boiling point. I'm seeing firsthand accounts of like very carefully like honed tussles and some low key fighting. This first these first preseason. This was day 3 of preseason camp.
Okay,
Rios was already bruised on both cheeks, on his nose and above his right eye. Like,
Nice.
And he was
That's
like,
what I
"Oh,
like to
this
hear.
is just we're just getting the jitters out."
Yeah, and also they're in San Antonio, so they are quite literally boiling.
I mean, I
That's
was gonna
also-
say, I've been to
I'm
Big
not-
Bend.
I'm
I
not
saw
sweating.
Roadrunners there.
Yeah,
It was, and there were signs warning that it got up to like 140 degrees, depending on the time. Like,
Oh my gosh,
depending on the.
that's why they
trail.
play in a dome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's one of the few times where I'm like, well, I kind of get it.
Yeah. By the way, UTSA's first game is against Utagurv. First Utagurv FBS opponent.
I don't know who to cheer for. Well, yes, I do.
Utagurv.
you
Come on.
know,
Yeah.
you know.
Should I play? Do I have that loaded in? I don't know if I do.
I just don't need that upset to happen. Like I need some other ones.
There's others.
Like UTSA beating Texas.
Yes.
Week 3.
Please.
They get him. Ohio State just pummels Texas. UTSA springs the upset.
Wouldn't be the first time. It used to feel like that happened all the time. Ohio State plays this big name opponent week 1 or 2. They beat them and then they lose like 2 of their next 3 games just to like be bad.
Yeah. They love a good emotional loss in week 2.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean,
well,
this-
that is our college football conversation for this week. A lot more where that came from because we largely did not talk about the Big 12. Josh, we largely did not talk about the fact that SMU is in your backyard, so we can try to convince you to get tickets and
you
scatter
don't
out
have to
for us in
convince me. I'm going to
person.
find another $3 ticket.
UC Davis, September 12th.
Yeah.
Is probably your best bet. 4 p.m.
Yeah, I'm currently going through all 115 odd pages of the updated Protect College Sports Act.
Oh, yes.
Currently reading that bill. Did not make it to the Senate floor for a vote this past Friday. So when Congress goes back, they think they reconvene September 15th. That is plenty of time for me to finish reading. Now, when I say 100 and odd pages, this is real. These are real generous margins. They're really only using about a third of the usable space, if that. I will give you more updates. I'm doing what no other person is willing to do. I'm actually reading the bill.
Good on you, Josh.
Thank you for reading so we don't have to, Josh.
That's right.
The term grant and aid means A, the scholarship, grant, stipend, or other form of financial assistance, including the provision of tuition and board, books, or funds.
Garbage.
Yeah, sorry, you guys, I was going to say, you guys...
Actually, can we just make this a new podcast episode where it's just, I don't know how long it's going to take you to read. Like, I don't know what your reading out loud pace is.
Whatever's best for the ASMR.
Yeah. Well, that'll do numbers. Josh reading a 100-page NCAA bill ASMR style. That's what our YouTube channel needs.
Not in 440. Give me an A in 432 hertz. That's the one that more naturally aligns us to our chakras or something. And it'll just be me going, Title 1. Protections of student athletes and fair competition.
It's really good.
FCC.100 definitions.
Yep.
And I could do that. I could do that for another 128 pages.
Give a like on this video. If this video gets 2 likes, Josh will do that for 2 hours next week.
Sometimes the guys make picks based on their vast knowledge of sports. Sometimes they make picks based on vibes.
I'm going to go ahead and say that Maryland takes down Florida.
Chop this one up for the Gators. Chop a national championship for Florida.
Either way, they're probably going to be wrong. It's time for Picks of the Week.
Well, good news is that if my flaming UTSA take just goes up in smoke within like 3 weeks of the season, I can probably still bank on my Picks of the Week scoreboard because I added another point. Just sheer blind luck. And now I'm reading the chat for producer Chris, who's saying I'm looking for new sleeping podcasts. So you know what? We're creating one for producer Chris, if no one else. The Picks of the Week scoreboard, I've got 10 points now. Josh has 5. Johnny, you've got 3 because I somehow predicted that Round Rock Express would win 4 of 6 games against the Albuquerque Isotopes. Man, when it's your season, it's your season.
2.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yep. So I got that right. This week, we're doing something slightly more predictable, or we can at least put a little bit more thought into. On Thursday, we get the Field of Dreams game, which is awesome. This year's event features the Minnesota Twins and the Philadelphia Phillies. I'm just playing it safe. I'm just going Phillies. I could see Kyle Schwarber just hitting a bomb into the cornfields, quite literally, which is a beautiful sentence to say out loud. So I'm going to go Phillies here. Minnesota, kind of meh, and also in a meh division. Phillies haven't been that great either, but they've surged a little bit as the season's gone on.
I haven't thought about the Twins in a while. I may as well give them the honor of thinking about them.
Oh,
I'll pick the Phillies because somebody has to play the Brewers in the championship series in the National League. So I'll pick the Phillies. And I just got to get a point. I mean, at this point, I'm not catching Aaron. This has just been a bloodbath.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's for reference, it's episode 7 of our 20 episode season. So, I mean, technically there's still room. College football can do some crazy things, but I'm already up to 7 points.
Once we figured out that we were going to give you a Waffle House soccer scarf.
Yeah.
Which is in stock, by the way, I just checked.
Oh, thank goodness.
Yeah, don't you worry. And so is the Macoon mug.
Which I still owe you, Josh.
Yes.
But the listeners didn't hear that. I definitely pay off
this has already
on
been
our
edited.
Picks of the Week prize immediately.
This has been edited.
It's AI.
It's AI.
Yeah.
Always interesting in Ypsilanti. But
yes, it is.
That's what it stands for. Anyway, we're back to what they can hear. Once we figured it out, thankfully it's still in stock, but my goodness, I think it just put an extra gear into Aaron's brain and he has done nothing but just call fire, call heat. Whatever the kids are saying these days, I'm going to say it's slightly wrong.
Yep. So that's picks of the week. By the way, I didn't mention this, but if you have agreements, disagreements, or you just have your own hot takes on the college football season, please let us know either in the comments of this video or hit us up on Twitter or Instagram. Like, our DMs are open. Let us know you know what? How about this? Give us your hottest take of the college football season. Mine is that UTSA, you know what? I'm just going to put my foot down and say UTSA is in the playoff. No fence riding for me. That's my hottest take. Let us know what your hottest take is.
My hottest take, if we're going to do this.
Yeah.
Because again, the narrative, Texas is this year's Penn State. Because UTSA would be the third loss, and it would be kind of like the UCLA type thing. Not quite, but like the moral defeat. So I may as well put my foot down on that.
Wow. I was going to say that UTSA can make the playoff without beating Texas, but I love it. I love it.
That's if I can take Aaron's hot take.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
But I guess I
Texas.
did in saying that when I said this Texas is last year Penn State, I might be implying that Sarkisian's fired by the end of the season.
You kind of are.
I have
before
implied
the end
that.
Of the season. Gets left on a tarmac in Evanston, Illinois.
He's not remotely getting put as much pressure on him preseason as James Franklin was. So
no,
that's true.
That's why it's a hot take.
Yeah, I like it. Let us know.
We'll find out.
The guys spent hours scrolling social media, and they found some pretty dumb stuff. Now they want to talk to you about it.
Oh, by the way, I did find there is bowling in Dave & Buster's. Woo. Importantly, it's half off on Wednesdays as of 5 years ago.
That coupon still spends. Let's go.
Good luck. It's time for What We're Following.
We're all Akron season ticket holders by now, I assume.
Yes.
I'll save that for another co-host to talk about because we can strategize on our play calling. If you know.
Bad SMU tickets, season tickets were like $325 with like a minimum $500 donation.
Oh,
so I got
Akron's $75, I think. But again, not stepping on toes there.
We're gonna
because we'll get there.
We'll get there.
I'll start us with just kind of a blah conversation that is slowly kind of accelerating. So we've had some rule changes in college football. Which is it's not new to have rule changes. It's also not new for those rule changes to open up a can of worms. So if you missed it, which by now this has been a thing for a little while, we have a new eligibility rule in the NCAA, which we talked about a couple of weeks ago. Basically, it's real simple, sort of. You get 5 years of eligibility to play up to 5 seasons. Cut and dry. Redshirt's not really a thing for the most part. I think there may still be an injury waiver, but for the most part, just also for the sake of clarity, 5 years, that's it. So no super seniors still playing football at 26. So that's it. So the can of worms has been opened because some players didn't take a red shirt or didn't sit out with injury or just played their normal 4 years or their normal 4 seasons in 4 years. And now all of a sudden with this new court ruling, which I believe took place in Colorado, they have a 5th year of eligibility now. So overall, I'm not really trying to speak badly of this rule. I think it'll be helpful because we do need some guidelines in place. And I think, while not perfect, it gets us there. What it does mean, though, is players like Indiana star defensive lineman Stephen Daly can return to his undefeated national championship team from last year. And by the way, he led the team in tackles for loss with 19 of them and had 5.5 sacks. You have other similar situations where, players are coming back to their teams who have even been in mini camps with NFL teams, which to me, even with this new ruling, I'm I thought that was the line that you kind of crossed that, you are no longer an amateur, but we've erased other lines. We've created different lines. I mean, we're all over the place. So what I'm following is even as late in the year as early August, with mere days left until college football kicks off, there are still roster changes that are happening. Obviously, Indiana, that's a huge lift for them. They're not the only team that's getting the benefit of that, but that's perhaps one of the biggest additions of this kind. So I'm just throwing it out there that what I'm following has been trying to figure out who the heck is on these teams' rosters. It's not easy. I mean, John, your job is literally to put your team's roster on a website. I mean, that's one of your jobs. You would think that would be a simple process.
You would think.
And it is certainly far from it. So that's what I'm following. Just be aware. Like,
long
who knows
term,
who's
this
coming
is
back.
helpful if judges stop
Yes,
getting in the way.
absolutely.
Because these guys were not supposed to be able to be included in that bill. And as you said, Judge and Colorado says otherwise.
I feel partially responsible for the story that I'm about to share. Because when I visited Ohio last week, I went with my brother, sister-in-law, and niece over to the Huber Heights Buc-ee's. I wanted to see what it looks like. I was able to gaslight my niece into thinking that Bucky the Beaver was personally giving our car gas, and thus was able to have her say, "Thank you, Bucky Beaver," to the gas pump on the way out. I'm very proud of that. However, that was a Saturday. That following Monday, after John Oliver of not the Daily Show, the other thing he's last week tonight, put out a story on how Buc-ee's tends to be aggressive in suing anything that looks like an animal mascot. Buc-ee's that Monday, after I successfully gaslit my niece, "Hey Jacob, if you're listening, sorry, I hope it is not permanent," but she is a year and a half, so or 2.5, so it might be. You might have to bring me back up, and I'll do the Santa talk with her. Bucky is really Santa. I'll re-gaslight her. Anyway, yes. Before I talk about my devious plans, I'm going to talk about Buc-ee's devious plans. Buc-ee's has sued a mini mart called Beaver's Mini Mart, which is in Beaver Creek, Ohio. We know Beaver Creek well. I spent many a year in Beaver Creek. The church we all attended is currently in Beaver Creek.
Hasn't moved.
Hasn't moved, turns out. And neither has Beaver's Mini Mart, which was opened in the 90s? Before Bucky Bucyrus, as we'll call him now.
Busey.
Busey has now filed a trademark lawsuit against Beaver's Mini Mart. Now, what they're quoting, and this is according to the Houston Chronicle, they've accused Beaver's Mini Mart of, quote, unjustly profiting from the reputation of Buc-ee's by using a logo of a smiling cartoon beaver. The lawsuit also cites the store's predominant, in quotes, use of red lettering as evidence of trademark infringement. You're not allowed to have red lettering and an animal mascot in a town like Beaver Creek, Ohio.
Right.
Turns out. This is not going to go well. I have been privately a little concerned about how Manifest Destiny Buc-ee's has been with its expanding stores.
That's a good way of saying it.
If you're in the South, or you're even close to the South, if you're 500 miles away from the South, you'll start getting Buc-ee's billboards. Again, I have 3 or 4 in my area. Once I leave that area, the next one is in Missouri. There's going to be one they're putting one in not Salt Lake City, Little Rock. So I'll get billboards for that. But basically, once I leave Texarkana and I'm in Arkansas, I get, hey, only 504 miles away, and it's the Branson, Missouri Buc-ee's. Hey, tell your kids you can hold it, and so you. I'm like, okay, great. The first time it's kind of funny, and then when I do that drive a lot of times to go up north, it's at least the Hell is Real sign has some fun to it.
There's only one of them.
There's only one of them. Only one hell, too. Anyway, the idea of Buc-ee's trying to, quote, protect its iconic and distinctive brand, they're becoming Disney-esque, where I can't even... I'm scared to even think about a beaver mascot, not Buc-ee, for longer than 3 seconds. Otherwise, I'm going to get a lawsuit in the mail from... And the issue is, too, we're going to send a lot of people straight to jail. Currently, a lot of people have gone to support Beaver's Mini Mart because it was there first, not Buc-ee's. I saw videos yesterday, people lining around the block going in to support. It's just a little mini mart. I don't even think does it even have a gas station attached?
No.
Yeah,
no.
it's.
I pass it all the time.
Yeah, I'm like, I probably do remember because the next thing they're going to do is they're going to sue that Beaver Bowl right off of 35.
Oh yeah. The
because again,
alley.
Heaven forbid a town named Beaver Creek have anything beaver themed.
There's beavers
I believe
everywhere.
Isn't the school also?
Oh yeah.
The high school there has a beaver mascot.
Ripping off Oregon State's old mascot. That ended eventually. I don't know if that was like an actual lawsuit or that was like them thinking, we might want to change. And
that's the thing. I remember
a high school rite of passage. They all rip off NFL and college.
Shout out Jonathan Alder.
I was about to say John Alder. Yeah.
I love my favorite is when you see compilations. They look cursed. One time I saw a Missouri Tiger with a like Texas Tech double T combined in a logo, and of course none of them were the original colors either. So that. Yeah, those are my favorite high school logos when I'm traveling around the country. Just seeing those cursed, those just absolutely cursed logos.
I love seeing when they have the banners for the entire conference, and you're just like, Green Bay, Iowa, Notre Dame.
So many Green Bays.
Yeah.
We're gonna send Buc-ee. I'm sending Busey to jail. I also have to send. Hold on. I just realized I've been reading a few op-eds from the Columbus Dispatch. They put out competing op-eds. One is in favor of Beaver's Mini Marts. By the way, $57,000 raised on their GoFundMe to cover legal fees. But I'm reading the pro Buc-ee's side, and it's written by
Buc-ee.
No, it's written by Jeff Gore, who is the mayor of Huber Heights, the town in which the Buc-ee's is.
Well,
and
of course he is. Of course,
Buc-ee's has good reason to sue Mini Mart. Here's the backstory I know from the Ohio mayor, Mayor Jeff. Hey, Mayor Jeff, I don't encourage doxing. But I know you're the Huber Heights mayor, so I could gather enough. That's false. I'm not even going to give this guy the benefit of the doubt. He's claiming
that's a future ASMR podcast.
Yeah, it's just me going. Oh,
yeah,
ew.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Like, yep, they're wrong, and they need to get over it. Like, I'm sorry.
Buc-ee's.
You're allowed to have competing business. It's a mom and pop shop. What they're not going to open a second. Well, they weren't before this. Maybe they will now. They'll get enough public support. Who knows? But no, I used to live like 2 minutes from that place.
Yeah.
Pass it all. I still pass it all the time. It's literally selling like drinks, firewood, random groceries right there.
Yeah.
It's nothing special.
It's a mom and pop Dollar General, and we need more mom and pop. The claim is that the owner of Beaver's Mini Mart filed for a Beaver Mart trademark,
like a federal trademark. Yeah.
Yes. And Buc-ee's is trying to basically sue to get him to drop that.
Yeah.
However, shut up. It's not. I'm sorry. Again, even Beaver Creek locals, was this big enough, Johnny, where you were going to go in any sense? Oh, I can't wait to go see Josh in Dallas and go to the Beaver Mart.
I've never been in Beaver's Mini Mart. It's not confusing at all. Maybe it's confusing if you're 5, but even for them, it probably isn't because there's.
I don't know how old. How old is Bucky canonically?
Busey. It's definitely Busey now, by the way. So until they drop this lawsuit, I think it's the same as Rutgers being singular and not plural until they do something. That is basically how we do.
Oh,
these
Bucky. I believe the first logo was in 1982, so he's like 44 years old. You're old enough to know better, Busey.
I have 2 things really, really quick. One, they named Cleveland's WNBA team, which we could add a whole segment on how toxic the WNBA is on this podcast, but we don't have 5 hours. But Cleveland's WNBA team, which is coming soon, is going to be called the Sirens, which I actually love the name, by the way. I thought the logo was pretty cool. I think the name's really great, being on the lakeside. Obviously, we're all in an Odyssey mood right now. That's my entire timeline right now is basically, how did Christopher Nolan actually pull that off with practical effects? And it's actually pretty amazing. I love my timeline right now. And it's
gross
historians all asking, like, is this historically correct? And everybody basically like, there is no historically correct because it's a myth story.
Poem.
Anyway, I digress. That's very cool.
Battle of Troy didn't happen.
Akron's Troy is a real place. It was built roughly 10 different times and sacked 10 different times. But Akron's offensive coordinator position is open for business. And I love this. And MAC schools and other small schools should all be doing stuff like this. Is it a tad gimmicky? Yeah, of course. That's why Ohio State's not doing it. But Akron has drummed up so much interest. Have the Akron Zips ever been talked about this much? Especially preseason and not on a random Tuesday or Wednesday night in November. This is amazing. I love it. So you can, I believe you have to buy season tickets, which I think we mentioned are like $75. It's not even that much on the low end, of course.
Yeah, already sold out.
Yeah, it's sold out. It's amazing. But this is what it's for, the raffle. I said, I'm being a little facetious with offensive coordinator. If you win, it's play calling promotion for the season ticket holders. The winner gets a pre-game press conference, mic'd up headset and play calling sheet, coach's box access, and an NFL draft style call. So they're going to actually work with Joe Moorhead to create the opening script for that drive of their opener against Robert Morris, I believe. So Robert Morris fans apparently have also been trying to buy up season tickets as they were trying to get to make the play call sheet, which I'm sure that's not going to happen. But it's been amazing to see how many people have gone about it. I'm like, $75 isn't enough. You guys really should have raised your prices. Some of these guys are just buying up season tickets. I don't know how many people are going to actually take advantage of their season tickets, but I'd love to know the last time Akron actually sold out their season tickets. They're drumming up interest. This is what you need to do as a program. And Akron has actually, under Joe Moorhead, very, very slowly, because they were in the depths of depravity, slowly been getting better as a program as well. So hopefully this is a little bit of cash influx for them. They're still not going to be competing for the MAC crown this year, unless, maybe one of the 3 of us gets to be the play caller. Then they'll go right back down. But I just thought this was such a creative, great way for Akron to just kind of get themselves on the map, even if it's just for a few weeks. And they kind of go away after their opener against Robert Morris. I just thought it was a brilliant idea, and we need more creativity like this from our smaller schools in college football.
Johnny, what's your opening drive?
That's what I was just going to ask.
Yeah.
Hail Mary. Instantly.
Yeah.
Statue of Liberty. Verts. Hook and ladder. You said, well, now see, the thing is, you said opening drive. Ideally, my opening drive's one play. you know.
It works on the Hail Mary.
Yeah. So, you know.
I mean, listen, I can't judge. I'm going for verts until
that's
it hits.
me every time though in NCAA football. It's HB slam and 4 verts. I have 2 play calls.
That's
Run
all
and
you
shoot,
need.
I believe is what they call that offense.
Yep. And it was
Like,
it
that's-
worked so well with that old school Stanford roster. And like
Yeah.
before the new NCAA footballs came out, those old school Stanford rosters, you could not stop HB slam and 4 verts.
It's going to
Good times.
statistically get you like 2 yards, 2 to
But
4
I go
yards
for it
every
on 4th
time.
every time.
And you go for it on 4th because you
3.
can guarantee, again, they didn't change up the parameters. It was always going to get you 2 to 4 yards.
Yep.
This round's up.
And I'd throw in a 4 verts roughly 2 or 3 times in the game. You never see it coming.
Make them sweat. This is, you can tell this man grew up in the Midwest.
I
during
ran
peak
the
Big Ten
play
football.
clock in a video game. People hated facing me. I ran the play clock
Nobody
down.
likes playing against him, but he gets the job done.
Yeah, you turn it over
Hey,
one
how do you think
time, the game's
UTSA beat
over.
Texas Tech in my dynasty?
Yeah,
Guys,
see?
this is stupid.
Run the ball.
Remember that time
Yep.
in Family Guy where Peter is playing Madden and just has Bo Jackson just run the entire length of the field 3 times in order to eat out the quarter?
Eh.
It's Johnny's version of that.
Well, your action statement is to, well, I would say buy Akron season tickets, but I don't think he can anymore. So your action statement is, it's a do this at a future date kind of action statement. And it is to obviously watch Akron in their opening drive this season against Robert Morris, but they will, as Johnny alluded to, be playing Maction in November. So we're just getting an early start with our action statement of watch some Maction because
action.
we're so close. It's a beautiful thing. And you know what? Maybe the MAC makes a run at the playoff this year. Who knows? We're going to find out in 3 weeks as Eastern Michigan and Jacksonville State clash in week 0 in an epic mid-American classic. Anyways, that'll be fun. Listeners, viewers, thanks for being here. As always, we will talk to you all next week. A lot more college football talk. So let us know your thoughts on the upcoming season, and we'll react to some of those next week. Have a good one.